Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Q3 2022 result presentation. My name is Sten Kirkbak, founder and CEO of Xplora, and with me we have our CFO, Michael Clement. As always, we will divide the presentation into three sections. I will start to give you a highlight from the quarter, then Michael will give you some key financial details, and then I will end with the outlook statement. Of course, we'll also have a Q&A session at the end. So let's start with Q3 highlights. I think it's important to mention that this quarter has been a key quarter for the company, in the company history actually. We have finalized some of our major investment in new products, setup of new mobile service provider setup, as well as completing our premium service platform in order to drive future recurring revenues from services. Also, it's been a quarter where we have transitioned out of legacy products in order to prepare the ground for introducing new products. For that reason, we are very pleased to announce that group revenues are up 28% to 138.5 million NOK. Our recurring service revenue is up 41% to 42.9 million, and our subscriber base ended at a very strong 147,400 paying subscriber, up 33% year-on-year. Our gross earning was 41% or 56.7 million. Something we have expected slightly higher, but due to the currency, we are buying products in dollars, selling in NOK and euro. The gross earnings has been slightly lower, and our EBITDA came in at negative minus 18.8 million, also slightly lower than we have expected. Key reason for that is the effect of the gross earnings given the exchange and the currency, as well as we have been transitioning out of new products, as well as we have also reduced our overall sales volume for this year, and we have not got the effect of the cost optimization in this quarter, which I also will come back to. Our cash balance ended at a strong 70 million NOK. Before we go into some more details, I would like to start with a 2022 overview for the goals we set out when we started the year. This year, we plan to launch 3 new products into the market. Also the first time where we have developed 2 OEM products ourselves. So every single component of the product is built by Xplora with the full IP and the value that comes from building the product from scratch. Naturally, it allows us to better integrate with our software platform. Also, we set out to replicate the very successful Nordic SIM model into 1 to 3 global markets. And of course, we should also take all the learnings from more than 100,000 users on our GoPlay platform, transition this accordingly with our global SIM rollout in order to launch GoPlay version 2, allowing customer to upgrade to a premium subscription, again, accordingly to the global SIM rollout. Also for this year, very important to establish our US operation, also to include partnership both with distributor, retails and telco, and also to demonstrate to the market the scalability and the profitability in our business case. So it's fair to say a lot of these achievements has actually been executed and launched throughout the third quarter, including year to date now of today in November. The key takeaways from the performance has been to finalize the development of the 3 large projects I mentioned, 3 new watches, SIM connectivity platforms, and connectivity or our service premium platform as well. Also, as mentioned, it's been key for us to be able to sell out all our previous models before the introduction of new products in order to avoid building stock in the distribution and retail channels. And as you can see on the screen as well, every single X5 Play and eSIM product is sold out from the retail perspective. We have kept some volumes of the XGO2 and X5 Play in Amazon to continue the sellout on our digital channel. But all in retail in our distribution channels, the current product is currently sold out, which was one key goal going into Q3. Preparing the ground for introduction of new products. Also, as you can see from the US perspective, we have established the office, all legal technical requirement for our operation in US is completed, and also the team of 6 is in place, and also they have managed to sign the key distribution agreement with a distributor, as well as we also have announced the first retail partner in Target, Walmart, and Best Buy, currently online with the objective to move into physical store performance going into next year. Also, as you can see, 3 new products to be developed this year, our new entry-level model and 2 premium products. You can see all the development is completed. The XGO3 is already in the market. The new X6 Play is being introduced as we speak, and the X6 Pro, which I will come back to as well, is finalized from a development point of view and is now into production for a slightly later launch into the market. And as we also have announced, we have already not only announced 1 to 3 new MVNO in the global market, but we are already live in the UK market with our SIM connectivity program. We are live by November in Germany, and we are also live in France with our subscription model as well. Currently, the technical implementation of the Spanish mobile setup is also completed, expected with the December launch. And in the US, we have already also announced the first agreement with AT&T, expecting to go live in the US market with the same mobile subscription model in next year. And also, we are very happy to announce that our GoPlay Generation 2, meaning that the ability to upgrade to premium content, is now also going live as of mid-November. And on the screen, you can also see we are currently still in implementation of our ERP system, and we have also started our efficiency program for 2023, which I will come back to slightly later. One last thing to mention on key takeaways from performance in Q3. As we mentioned, we have had some hits on our gross earnings related to the currency, buying in dollar and selling in NOK and euro. We have also been using third quarter in order to negotiate key deals from our vendors in order to reduce the risk of the currency fluctuation up and down. We have already accomplished quite a lot in that regard, and we will continue to work on that to improve going into 2023. To quickly recap our SIM model, we started this year being live in all the Nordic market. We had an objective to launch in 1 to 3 global market. As I just said, we have already announced several of our global SIM subscription models. On the screen, we would just like to give you an example of the value proposition when we're going live in the global market. And as you can see, we are choosing to have 3 or more different models where the customer can either pay as you go, you can have a 12-month prepaid contract, or you can commit to a 12-month contract and have a slightly discounted monthly price, all accordingly to be competitive in the price in the local market and also drive the same profitable business model as you have seen we have done previously in the Nordic market as well. In parallel of our SIM global rollout, we have now also aligned our Gen 2 of GoPlay, and being launched this month, you can also see that we have already demonstrated that our GoPlay users walk far more than other users, 2,500 steps more each day. We have categorized now all the feedback, all the data we have had from our users so far, and we have launched 10 awesome new categories with content, allowing customers to dig into new watch faces, ringtones, set up a lot of new campaigns. We have ebooks, we have a lot of games, e-learning, auction, a lot of competition with prices, how to utilize your Xplora coins, and we have built a new section we have called Go Brands, allowing us to integrate partnership with third party to provide even more content to our platform. These are the 10 awesome new categories where kids will be able to go in and download new content and really optimize their GoPlay experience. As you also can see on the screen, we have divided it into 2 value propositions. Some of the content come for free and will be part of our Connect Basic program. So when you buy a SIM connectivity plan from Xplora. You will get access to some of the content from the GoPlay. However, we allow the customer also to upgrade their SIM mobile plan in order to get Xplora Connect Premium, and then you can really get the most out of your Xplora watch and utilize and use all the content from these 10 categories. You can see some of the reference points on the screen as well. What is the key difference with the free versus the premium version? Again, this will also now go live and it will be rolled out accordingly to our global SIM rollout plan. I would now like to take you through some of the updates with our new products. Before doing that, I would also just like to spend some time on our watch history. And as a fun fact, it's interesting to look back. When we reported Q3 last year, we could then just report that we now had sold more than 500,000 watches back in Q3 last year. 1 year approx later, we just also now recently announced that we have achieved more than 1 million watches sold. Should take us to be the #1 smartwatch for kids in Europe and US combined, and with all the experience from taking 7 products into the market when we went into 2022. Also, as you can see, we have been partnering up with some of the major, largest, most recognized brands in the world when it comes to distribution, retailers, content partnership, and so on. That's a very strong history. The future is even more exciting for the Xplora team. We have now recently announced and launched a brand new platform of hardware products. We have divided it into GoPlay and Pro, where we have our XGO3. It's our new entry-level product. It's the proposition where we really provide value for money, still with Xplora experience and quality. That's our Go product. Then for the first time, as mentioned, we have now developed our own OEM product. Every single thing is built from scratch. All IP belongs to Xplora, and we have done this in order to really be able to integrate with our software platform. Also, one key takeaway with the strategy for the Play and the Pro is to extend the lifetime of the hardware platform itself. Previously, we have had a strategy to replace the product roughly every 18 months. With the new hardware platform, allowing us to do a lot more upgrade and changes in personalization from a software perspective, we also expect now the lifetime to be substantially longer on the hardware platform itself, allowing us to have slightly more time between when we do the financial investments in producing new hardware products. Our X6 Play, which I will present to you slightly more in detail in a second, is our new premium product, playful, powerful, and even more personalized. And with the Pro, that should be the flagship product in this whole category, really taking it to the next step. It's all developed and done in production for a slightly later launch. Going a little bit more into the X6 Play, like I said, more powerful, more personal. It's unique because every child is. And with this strategy, we really have emphasized 2 key differences from everything else you see on the market. Of course, it comes with more power, more storage, a better camera, larger screen, everything you expect from a hardware upgrade. But then we have really been thinking of how can we personalize this to the kids in the best possible way. We have a hardware strategy in order to do that, and we have a software strategy in order to do that. The hardware strategy, we have developed a range of accessory, actually providing more than 3,000 combinations in order to personalize your watch. With wristband, with bezel, with loops, everything the child can buy from Xplora in order to optimize the watch. That allows us also to sell more accessory with very high profitable margin. On the software side, it's real when it becomes super excited. Of course, the product is 100% GoPlay compatible. And also now, of course, you can upgrade to premium content, allowing you to access even more content. So you can really play around with watch faces, with ringtones, download new application, and really get the most out of your watch. And also, again, to personalize and optimize it to the way you best would like it. And I think it's a fantastic opportunity for us to launch this product with success even from the get-go. As of this presentation is being held, we have also been awarded a very high and prestigious award from CES, an Innovation Award for 2023, Best of Innovation. Every year, all the various categories are invited to be part of this innovation from CES, and only the best of the best will be awarded as a winner in each of the categories. As a reference point, last year, it was only one key award in the whole wearable category. With our new product, with the X6, we already got announced that we are winning this category for 2023. Going to Las Vegas CES in January, it will be a physical presentation and award of this prize. And we believe it's the combination of product innovation and the integration with our platform in order to make kids walk more and move more, as well as our ESG strategy, where kids can help other kids with their activity. Combination of that is what made us win this award. So super excited and a great start for our new product lineup. With that, I would like to have Michael to come up and take you through the financial details. Thank you.
Thank you, Stan. We'll start out with taking a look at our revenues in the third quarter. Group revenues in Q3 amounted to 138.5 million. That's an increase of 28% year over year from Q3 last year, and a solid sequential increase from 111 million in revenues in the second quarter this year. Looking at the regional sales and the regional breakdown, device sales made up 95.4 million in revenues this quarter, up 23% year over year. Germany remains our largest market for device sales, with around 60% of those revenues, followed by Norway as the second largest market at around 25% of device revenues. Service revenues amounted to 43.2 million NOK in the third quarter, an increase of 41% from Q3 last year. This comprised mostly of Xplora Connect subscription revenues. Norway is clearly the largest share of our service revenues at around 60% of revenues, followed by Sweden as the second largest market with around 25% of the revenues, and Finland, and then Denmark. Group revenues in Q3, as mentioned, 138.5 million NOK, up 28% year over year from last year. Germany commands the largest share of group revenues at 41% of sales, followed by Norway at 37% of group revenues, and Sweden at 10% of group revenues. Recurring service revenues were 42.9 million NOK in the third quarter this year, a growth of 41% year over year. Recurring service revenues represented 31% of our overall sales in the third quarter, and we're now at an annualized run rate of more than 170 million NOK in annual recurring revenues. We exited the quarter with 147,400 subscribers, with a chart on the left here showing the growth in subscribers over the last 3 years. A solid growth in the third quarter as well. Norway continues to command the largest share of subscribers at 82,000 subscribers, representing a penetration rate of 19% in the target market, kids aged 4 to 10 in Norway. We have 38,000 subscribers in Sweden, representing an implicit penetration of 5%, 16,000 subscribers in Finland with a penetration of 4%, and we're at 2% penetration in Denmark with 8,000 subscribers. We now have a subscriber base of 3,000 subscribers outside the Nordics, of which the US commands the largest share of those subscribers. Looking at our growth and penetration in the Nordic markets over time, we're at 19% in Norway, but we have clearly the longest track record in the Norwegian market. We see how the other markets are progressing in terms of penetration rates, and they continue to follow a very similar growth path that we've seen historically also in the Norwegian markets. Gross earnings in the third quarter were 57 million NOK, an increase of 7% from 53 million NOK in the third quarter of last year. Gross margins were 41% this quarter, down from 49% in the same quarter last year. Gross margins were negatively affected by a stronger US dollar from procurement of goods, as well as some effects from transitioning of product introductions. Adjusted for the negative currency effect this quarter, our gross margins would be in the high 40s. The underlying gross margin in our service business remains stable. And as Sten mentioned, we are renegotiating terms with suppliers, and we have secured improved terms and mitigated some FX risk on future product supplies. Moving into the P&L. Payroll costs, revenues first, 138.5, up 28%. Gross earnings at 56.7 million NOK for a margin of 41%. Payroll costs were 23.3 million versus costs of 21.6 million in the same quarter last year. We exited Q3 with 136 employees. Other operating costs this quarter were 52.2 million NOK, up from 31.4 million NOK in the same quarter last year. This includes 28.6 million in marketing costs, where we have three key elements driving those costs. One is the transitioning of product generations. Two is prepare new markets for the introduction of Xplora Connect. And three is brand building here under both the US establishment and continued brand building in the German market together with our partners. As a result, EBITDA this quarter, negative 18.8 million versus a break-even result in Q3 last year, with EBITDA at minus 19 million NOK. Depreciation and amortization totaled 12.8 million this quarter, of which 12.6 million comes from amortization of intangibles, primarily from the acquisition of Xplora Mobile Holding according to NGAAP. EBIT at minus 31.5 million, pre-tax ended at 32.6 million, with net profit with a loss of 31.6 million in Q3 2022. Year-to-date figures, we have revenues of 323 million, up 27% over the same period last year, with recurring service revenues up close to double, 96% increase to 111 million, and smartwatch sales up 6% year-to-date, which shows that we've seen an accelerating underlying growth in our smartwatch sales from Q1 through Q3. Gross earnings show an increase of 41% to 158 million NOK, with our margin at 48.8% versus 43.9% in the same period last year. Payroll costs year-to-date 56.9 million versus 50.6 million in the same period last year, with other operating costs at 122.1 million, up from 70.7 million. This includes 53 million in marketing costs year-to-date, up from 30 million last year. EBITDA year-to-date is negative 21.1 million, and EBITDA, with an EBIT of minus 57.6 million in year-to-date. Profit before tax at minus 58.7 million, the first 9 months of 2022 versus a loss of 30 million in the same period last year. Moving on to the balance sheets. Financial fixed assets on our balance sheet amounted to 249.2 million, largely goodwill and estimated value on customer contracts from the acquisition of Xplora Mobile Holding. Intangible assets of 37 million is largely capitalized development costs. We had accounts receivables exiting Q3 of 56.5 million NOK as a result of higher sales in the quarter. That's an increase from 46 million NOK at the end of Q2. Inventories were up by 9.5 million NOK to 109.5 to prepare for seasonally higher sales in the final months of the year. Other receivables stood at 77.3, up quite a bit from 27.4 on higher prepayments of ordered goods as well as VAT. We had cash balances of 69.7 million at the end of Q3 versus 81.2 million at the end of Q2. We exit Q3 also with interest-bearing loans of 27.9, slightly down from 28.6 at the end of Q2. Accounts payable were 79.9 million, up from 19.8 on remaining payments on significantly larger factory orders. Our short-term liabilities were 74.4 million, up from 66.6 million, comprising prepayments of our subscriber base as well as accruals. Then over to the cash flow. Q3 cash from operations is a negative 20.4 million NOK, with cash earnings of minus 19.9 and negative 0.6 in net working capital changes. Cash from investments is a negative 7 million NOK, with 6 million coming from product and service platform development and 1 million from investments in our new ERP systems. Cash from financing in Q3 was 16 million NOK positive on new equity from exercise of contractual subscription rights. This leaves net change in cash of negative 11.5 million NOK in the third quarter. And we exit the quarter with 69.7 million NOK in the bank. In a larger perspective, I'll sum it up with our cash movements so far this year. We entered 2022 with 140 million NOK in cash. Through the year, we have a negative EBITDA of 21 million. We have paid 20 million in earn-out payment for the remaining acquisition price of Xplora Mobile Holding acquired last year. We have CapEx totaling 29 million year to date, and we have a negative working capital movement of 15 million NOK, offset by a positive 15 million NOK in financing, leaving us with 70 million on the balance sheet in cash at the end of Q3. With that, I will leave the word back to Sten for a few words on our outlook.
Thank you, Michael. So let's have a look at the road ahead. I would like to really emphasize the importance of this slide. Going forward, we will really focus on our core business and our core value proposition. As we mentioned in the introduction, previously we have been focusing on up to 20 different markets. Now we have introduced SIM connectivity in 9 of our markets. That will be defined as our core market, and we will put all our effort into those 9 markets. So we'll focus on the markets where we have SIM connectivity, allowing us to replicate the Nordic SIM model from previously and bundle as many as possible of our watches with SIM connectivity. As well as we also presented, we make it very simple for the customer to potentially upgrade to premium content in order to get even more out of their Xplora watch, to personalize it, to optimize it, and access even more content and application. That will be our core focus into 2023. 9 markets with a very strong value proposition consisting on the watch bundled with SIM and easy access to upgrade to premium services. That gives us a unique value proposition from every single competitor out there. It's also a lot more difficult to replicate and copy. And as we have been presented previously as well, it drives 7 to 10 times more profitability for every single watch we are selling with that integrated value proposition. And we'll focus on these 9 core markets. On top of that, as we mentioned initially as well, we are going to introduce and implement an efficiency plan. Key strategies behind our new plan is that we have already now finalized major investment when it comes to 3 new watches, new rollout our SIM connectivity plan in 5 new markets, as well as our premium service platform. That allows us to be a lot more efficient when it comes to our marketing spend. Instead of focusing on 20 markets, we are narrowing that down to our 9 core markets with a stronger value proposition. On top of that, as I also mentioned when I introduced a new product, we are extending the lifetime of our hardware platform from 18 months to far longer lifetime before we will start to develop and introduce new product. Instead, we will use software to upgrade and make the product relevant for years to come. In addition, we will also look into how we can reduce some of our personal costs related to our new strategy when it comes to number of markets we are focusing on, and also the fact that we now have finalized the production of new product, platform, and services. All in all, we are aiming to reduce our operating cost by 10 to 20% going into 2023. In the same sentence, it's also very important to underline that we will maintain the focus on our software and ability to provide software and content delivery capabilities. Also, it's very important to mention that we are negotiating supplier agreements in order to have a more balanced currency risk profile going forward. And as I said in the introduction, we have already successfully done that with some of our suppliers, and will continue to do that with more of our suppliers as well. So to summarize in the outlook statement, we remain on track to deliver our revised target 20 to 30% revenue growth for 2022. Also, we will exit 2022 with a brand new hardware platform of 2 new OEM products and a new entry-level product. Xplora Connect will be available now in 9 markets, growing from the 4 Nordic markets to 9 global markets, including the opportunity to drive further increased annual recurring revenue from both SIM and premium content. As mentioned, we'll do all focusing on our core market, allowing us to have a stronger, more profitable value proposition. And also we'll enter into 2023 with a more optimized cost structure and a negotiation of key agreements. We will then have a target to continue to grow our revenue into 2023 with a target of most of the growth coming from service revenue. And also together with a cost reduction of 10 to 20%, will generate a more profitable result for the company going forward. With that, we can move into the Q&A session.